spend some time with the dead.
On demand almost. We'd be like, hey, can you like touch the duck or make it go off? And it would just start lighting up and going crazy.
Why should we be afraid of you?
Hello and welcome to What Goes Bump the Night. I'm your host, Riley Clark, and alongside me, as always, is
Trevor Jensen.
And today, our very, very special guest, Cyn Shrader Hill.
Woo-woo. Hey, thank you guys for having me on.
Hey, thank you for slicing out a piece of your time to come on this little shindig we got going on here.
It's my pleasure, truly.
Fantastic. And I would imagine our good friend Eric Freeman Sims probably sent you our way.
He did.
Yep. He's
And
the boat captain.
When I told him that I was coming on here, he goes, "Oh, I love those guys."
Well, the feeling's mutual. We love that, dude.
Yeah.
He's
Great.
a great,
Yeah.
he's
We
a
were
great
just-
person.
We were just talking about how he purchased that haunted house.
Yeah, and it's like,
everything,
we need to get out there.
Listen, I am one of the lucky few that gets to go this Saturday for the inaugural investigation.
That's
Hell
so cool.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of haunted places, we have a video coming out again next week after we just released Olympia Bookstore last week. So thank you for all for blowing that video up.
Yeah.
I'm doing amazing.
Mwah.
Hopefully we
Chef's
can make
kiss.
Hell's Bridge, a solo investigation I did, just as successful. And we'll show you that trailer right now. Yourself to me. Forbid you.
He was hung.
Oh my god, he was hung?
We are on our way through the woods to the infamous Hell's Bridge. So yeah, next week.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm excited. I watched it pre-release because I get the privy informations, but like it's pretty cool. Like I'm pretty proud of you, Doc, for going on a solo investigation because that's spooky.
Yeah, it was a great time. The bugs sucked. I was just laughing.
Definitely.
Bugs were terrible.
I love it. I love it so much. So why don't we just dive on, head first in the deep end, and then I'd love to know, where did you get your start in the paranormal, and like, what's your background looking like?
Okay, let's start with I was a weird kid.
Yeah, we were too. Don't worry.
But I didn't understand that. And I'm a lot older than you guys. So when I grew up, nobody talked about ghosts and things. No, it was taboo. And especially here in the Bible Belt, you just,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Oh Lord, no. My grandmother never, ever talked about spirits or anything like that. Ever. My mother has seen her and heard her around the house. So, I think now that she's on the other side, maybe she's like, oh, well, maybe I should have talked about it a little bit or something.
I should have opened my eyes a little wider.
Yeah. Even though they probably were open and she just didn't want to talk about it.
That too. Yeah. I know a lot of people that are the same way too, where it's like, hey, like, I know you are really interested in this. Just let it out.
Yeah. And they won't do it.
Nope.
They won't. It's just like, oh no, I'm not into that or whatever.
But I keep the appearance.
Yeah. And I was having panic attacks because of all
Really?
this and didn't know why I was having panic attacks. But it was because I was taking on everybody's energy. And especially in crowded rooms and concert halls and malls. Holy cow. I could barely go to a big crowd of people. It was all I could do to get through it. And anyway, I would be eating Tums and all this kind of stuff. I had to know where the exits were and the bathrooms.
Yep.
Let me know where those are so I can get out away from these people. But fast forward several years, and I got interested in watching all the shows like most people have. And I really wanted to do that. I just didn't know how. And I didn't realize that I had more going for me than I knew.
Right? Yeah.
Which maybe it's a good thing that because it kept me where I would ask questions instead of knowing everything.
Right.
So because none of us know everything.
No, definitely
And-
not. We're
Yeah.
amateur experts.
Exactly, on different things too.
Exactly. Yep.
Right? And everybody kind of finds what they're good at
Mhm.
and then builds on that. But I had no clue whatsoever. I lost my dad in 2001, September, right after 9/11. Nothing to do with the Twin Towers, but
Yep.
I was a daddy's girl.
Yep.
And so, that kind of, it just really hit hard.
It
And
does.
it was like 5 years before I even had a dream about him. And
Mhm.
I was like, God, come on, Daddy, show me a sign. He was a coin collector. Show me a coin, anything like that. It just wasn't happening. I think
Yeah.
I wanted it too bad.
Right.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
can-
that same way.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes even when you're paranormal investigating, kind of like tie that in is like sometimes you want it so bad that the spirits just can't do it.
Or you overlook the other thing that just happened that was the sign because you're focused so hard on that one point.
Yeah.
I think both of you are so right on all of that.
Mhm.
I called a team down from about 2 hours north of me, Ghost Hunters of Southern Tennessee. They were actually up in McMinnville toward the north end, but you have to have an S, so Southern Tennessee, I guess that's it. I ended up training with them.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, and so it was James Jones with that group, and then Wayne Baker. We've lost Wayne,
Mhm.
but they trained me, and Wayne was actually the one that introduced me to, okay, this is why you're feeling this. This is why this is going on. And it just kind of clicked. That's why I'm having these dang panic attacks.
Yeah.
That's why. So I spoke with another friend of mine, and it took about, I guess, 3 years before I got to meet this guy, Mark Elliott Fultz. And he actually does the covers, the artwork on my books, and the illustrations inside. And he's a writer.
Killer artist.
Oh,
Killer
my.
artist. Your covers. are
We're gonna get
incredible.
to the books, people. Don't you worry
They're
about
right
that.
there behind her. They're there behind her too. You can kind of get a little glimpse of it.
Yeah, but Mark is just phenomenal. He's one of my very best friends now. God just put him in my path, thank goodness. And I've learned so much from him. I can call him up any time of day and say, okay, what might this be? I sent him a video clip the other day.
Pick the brain.
And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I think I see this, but I want to know what you think. And he sent back just something immediately. Well, this is what it is. And I was like, oh, you're right. And I'm sure in his head he's going, yeah. But he's just super humble and he's great to talk to.
That's so wild.
Yeah. But after training with James and Wayne, I wanted my own team.
Yep.
And so I had already thought about it. I was the one that was really interested in finding the spirit voices. They found 2 when they came to the old store that my mom and dad owned. And one was something that my family never said. It had to be from way back. It was holy mackerel. You've heard that term. Somebody says that sometimes. It's a real old term. We didn't say it. And so it had to be back before the 70s, 1970s, 1960s. And before they were there, it started in the 1800s. The basement was a turkey slaughterhouse. The other EVP they caught was turkeys gobbling.
Yep, that's crazy.
I mean, can you imagine the turkeys on their worst day? They were about to be.
And I mean, just to be the investigator too, to catch that is like, I mean, radio is like songs and people. Like the fuck is this?
Yes, exactly.
It's crazy.
So I was hooked. That hooked me.
I bet like our friend Danny, he actually caught like
Paranormal
an
pop-up.
EVP of a horse like neighing
Yeah, like
And obviously there was no horse anywhere
Yeah, and it's like-
near where he was
I
investigating.
heard a tugboat come over a portal device when there was actually like at the old Lincoln County Jail actually is a good one where there was a canal
Wow.
that ran right next door and it was now a street, an alley, and like we didn't know and I wasn't paying attention when I walked in the building, but they were like, yeah, that used to be a whole on like canal where they would ferry like tugboats through. Oh,
Wow.
So it's crazy.
That's
Like, you can
That's
catch ghost
great.
noises that it's literally
Mhm.
like echoes from the past, like real echoes from the
Mhm.
past. It's not necessarily like
Mm-hmm.
a ghost how you think about it always. Sometimes it's just a time slip type thing.
well, and like how you said
Yeah.
you lost your dad and how you were like focused on like I want something to happen. I had let that feeling go, and it was probably when we started the podcast. It had been about like what 8 months to a year, I think, for when the first episode aired. After we had talked about it and after all that, and I'd come back from that depression, but not to be too sad, but like I talked about it on one of the first 2 episodes, and we had our only audio anomaly that was visibly like in the Audacity that was only showed up after we had like looked at it, because recording nothing happened, like nothing was moved, nothing had, it was weird, and it was like an interference of some sort right when I started talking about my mom.
Wow.
And I had just lost her, like the not
I
that
think that
long
might
ago
even
to
be
it.
the first episode.
It was weird, and I mean, like, granted, it was the first episode. We had tested this 100,000 times before we actually fired it up to do it. So I was like, we were sure. So to this day, I think that those little things will slip through. Like,
Yeah.
it just makes sense.
And when that happened, how did you feel about it?
Like, in the moment, I could feel overly emotional. Like,
Yeah.
I felt stimulated, like to the point to where I was like, I could cry, I could, like sweat like profusely. Like, it was
When-
like really
When
raw.
he talked about his mom, like on a personal level for the first time on the show, like it was
Like peeling back the onions,
it
everybody's
was-
gonna cry.
it was a very like, you're like, oh shit, this is like a real
This is
raw
deep.
emotional moment
Right.
right here.
Yeah, and that to this day,
And then,
it's
boom,
like
just
what?
the audio anomaly just happens at that
Mhm.
same exact moment. It's really
It's so odd.
strange.
It is, but you knew exactly who it was.
Oh, definitely. It's like, hey,
100%.
I'm winking, like I see you, like keep going, like you guys got this.
That's the thing. That's what I try to tell people when they ask me about lost loved ones and all this. How do you know? Well, you don't. But
Yeah, you don't know. It's confirmation bias, but it's always
Yeah.
biased because you're looking for it.
But when you get a sign, what pops into your head? What is the first thing that pops into your head? And that's usually
Yep.
who it is.
Mm-hmm.
That is
And
usually
it's
who
how
it is.
you feel. Our bodies are
Yes.
receptors. Like, I love how you asked that, because it's like we are literally walking antennas.
Yes.
We
We need to
literally
follow
give
them.
off EMF like electricity everywhere we go.
And we pick up so much more than our minds can even understand.
Yeah.
Our brain filters out so much.
Yes. Yes.
So much. It's crazy. Like we aren't even our brain filters out exactly what we can see, like on a light level. So it can be like we could potentially be seeing ghosts, but if our brain's telling us to block that light level out, then we can't see it.
These concepts.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like our
Yeah,
eyes
I
literally
tell ya,
follow the
no,
way
he's
the
onto
brain
something.
goes.
I believe it.
Yeah, he's
Fuck,
onto
my
something
brain hurts.
because I've only seen with my
Mm-hmm.
eyes straight on one apparition.
Me
I think
too.
that's my brain
too.
protecting me. I've seen 1, 2, 3
Oh,
others.
no,
I'm not counting shadows that
Yeah.
you see, things like that.
Yeah, but like
But I've
full
seen
blown.
3 apparitions in reflection. Yeah. But the other
That's
3 were just
weird.
in reflection.
Reflection's even creepier.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, but I think that's my brain telling me, okay, you can't handle it full straight ahead of you right now.
It's
But
like
I'm gonna let them walk
stressor
behind
thing.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I legitimately think I had the same type of experience, but when I like recognized what the event was in my dream, I saw it for what it really was. Because like once again, Old Lincoln County Jail, this place is wild. Like jail cell, I remember vividly walking down the hallway, looking into a cell. This was like real time, and then I was like, wow, it's like electrically charged in here. It feels like there's like a Vanta Black in front of me and it's really dark. It's like ominous. Well, then I slept in the car on the ride home and I went right back to that exact time and like everything was the same. Riley talked the same. And then all of a sudden, instead of seeing nothing, I saw a big black, like shadowy, like amorphous thing kind of just like rush at me. And then I woke up. And I was like,
white as a ghost.
that's the only time I've really ever had like a dream
We
so
had one that-
crispy like that.
We had, so I don't, maybe you've had something like this with someone else. It would be interesting if you have. So we had the same exact dream, like a week on the same night. We had the same dream on the same night through our perspective of the night that we investigated together. And we saw the same creature, but we didn't talk about it for like almost a week or two.
It was like 1 or 2 weeks.
And we were just randomly talking on the phone. And I said, dude, I had this really weird dream. And he goes, if you say what I think you're going to say, because I had a dream too that I've been wanting to tell you about.
But I thought I was crazy, so I didn't say it.
And then we literally, I told him, I was like, you tell me your dream because I know mine.
We explained like the same, like dog-like, you know, like humanoid, like bipedal, like weird thing that was running through the like our Indian burial grounds video, like in the forest and cemetery in there. Like, and we both like described the same patch of woods we saw it in, and it was the exact same. And I pulled up a video that I was working on at the time, and I was like, "Is it this spot of like in the woods?" And it was the exact one we both saw. And I was like, "That's fucking, I don't know, dude. That's weird."
And in real life, as that filming of that video happened, Trevor said, "Did you hear that?"
I heard loud footsteps.
He heard loud footsteps run at us, and that's what happened in our dream.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean,
You've
like,
given me chills.
yeah,
completely.
like to like that was a really long way to go to the next street
Wow.
over. Yeah, like we've had like these experiences where it's like I think we've had these real wild experiences, but like our brains were like, nope, shut that door.
Yeah, I think so. But the more you do it, the more you kind of let filter in a little bit. I
Yeah,
think.
you desensitize a little more every time.
Your brain starts getting used to seeing
I'm not
it.
as afraid as I used to be on investigation.
Right. And I don't think I'm afraid, but maybe I would be.
I mean, I have a new story if the listeners want to hear about Edinburgh Manor that I just got back from not too long ago. This one is actually pretty wild because I've never actually been afraid, but I was afraid in the middle of the night because we decided that POV, Ernie from POV, and then Barry from Unfortunate Travels, we were going to sleep in the basement of the manor, and we slept like in cots, and all night we had REM pods and tripwires going off all night, and then we're like, okay, we're going to sleep down here. There's like an entity named the Joker that messes with things and messes with people. Well, in the middle of the night, we started hearing talking. And like at one point, Ernie had woke up and like looked over at me. He's like, what? Like, did you just say something? And I had thought he was talking to me, but we both 100% heard somebody in between us like mumbling something. And then right after that on the live stream, one of our good friends caught like what looks like a pair of eyeballs in the ceiling looking down at us. And then I look back at our video later, there's paint chips and like there's nothing reflective in that ceiling up there.
Wow.
Fucking scary shit. I don't know. That was
Wow.
really spooky.
You know, you're just ramping up.
It feels
what's
like
happening.
it.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
I wonder what this like a climactic event is gonna be like. You know what I mean? Like what's gonna be the epiphany where it's like, holy shit, did we just solve the puzzle? Like, or did I just like totally get
that would
pushed
be
down a
great.
hill by a ghost?
Maybe not. But I think it's going to build for you. I think it's just going to keep building like that for you, and you're going to keep having, you know, those things that happen to you where you look at each other like,
Like, oh shit.
did that just happen? Did I just what?
Oh yeah, we
That's
already.
what's fun. I think it's going to happen more.
What did that for you? What was the event that made you go, holy shit?
I have had 3 times that I've actually been scared.
Yeah.
And all 3 times, 2 were at the old hospital here in Lincoln County.
Okay.
And one was on vacation. We were on vacation.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we had
Not
gone
even
to
ready for that.
No. And do you take your sage on vacation with you? I do
Hell no.
now. I do
the
now.
ghosts are staying there and I'm going there.
You would think, but we got a cabin up in the mountains in Helen, Georgia. This
Oh,
little
Helen. Well,
have
the
you heard
first
of it?
problem is it's Georgia. That's haunted shit. All right.
But Helen, Georgia is this little mountain German town, Bavarian.
Yeah, it's just probably
And
quaint
it's just the
and
coolest
beautiful.
little getaway. Yeah, yeah. And so it was away from the little town. It was out in the woods like cabins are supposed to be. Beautiful scenery. You know, it was a walk down to the stream. It was just
Oh, it
gorgeous.
sounds picturesque.
Man, it was. That first night, I mean, we always have to have a pool table and a hot tub. Those two
Yeah, like
things.
this is the
you have
checklist,
to have.
and we need these.
Yes, yes, because we both get real competitive playing each other in pool.
I love that.
So we
We're
got
the
to do
same
that.
way.
I love it. Yeah, gotta have it. But so he had gone. He's an early bird. I'm a night owl. So
Yeah.
he'd already gone to bed, and then I was trying to get some sleep, and just I tossed
But
and
doing the
turned.
grog dance. I know the very.
Right? So I got up to use the restroom, and I thought I'm going to go into the other side of the cabin because it was a nice cabin.
Oh,
It
hell
was,
yeah.
I mean, upstairs and downstairs there were a spare bedroom on the other side of the same floor we were on, and then the downstairs had some. So it was
Yeah.
great. But I decided not to go into the master baths to not wake him up, and I went to the other side. And
Being
as
so
I was
respectful.
passing, I'm trying. I was trying to be. But as I passed by the stairs leading downstairs, something rushed up at me,
Oh god.
and it was something I couldn't see it.
Yep.
Or at least my mind wouldn't let me see it. But it was right here, and it was screaming. But it was one of those loud. Excuse me. There was nothing coming out.
Yeah.
But you could
Like.
feel the vibration.
Yep. I know the
So-
exact feeling too. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's happened 3 times to me, and
And you were in a
on
cabin you've never
vacation?
been in.
Exactly.
fuck.
And I'm supposed to be enjoying vacation. So what did I do? You know, I'm not afraid. I'm gonna walk on down the hallway. You're not gonna throw me out of my cabin. And so I go on down to the bathroom, open the door, close it, and went, oh no.
The
Why
immediate
didn't I
like.
go back? Why didn't I go back to the other bathroom? No, I'm stuck
Now
on
I'm
the
stuck.
opposite side of the cabin. Now I'm going to open the door to whatever this monster is, and my husband's going to come in the next day and go, well, what happened to her?
You're just sleeping in the tub.
Holy cow.
It just happens.
Oh my gosh.
It gets the best of us.
Of course, when I opened the door, nothing was there. It was
Oh,
back in the stairwell.
That's creepier though.
But oh man, we found some sage the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Day, it took us about 3 hours, and we found the last bundle of sage 10 minutes before closing in this little shop. So I was like, "This is mine," and
Yeah,
we
mine.
went back and we saged the whole apartment, the whole
holy
cabin.
shit.
Had no problem whatsoever afterwards. But
Yeah, I mean that's unwarranted
I
and
don't want it to happen
unwanted.
again.
You know, like I'm okay with like
Exactly.
going and investigating places and like wanting it to happen there. But like when I go home, like we have like these like circle lights like we're using right now that will just turn on and off on their own, and they have like a tactile click button, and it's been happening since we came back from Edinburgh, and I don't know what's happening other than I'm here for it, and it only does it when we're there. Because I never come home and it's on. I'm like walking through the house to like go to my computer or the kitchen, and then the light will
Really?
turn on. And I'm like, bad switch. But there's like, it's on a power strip too. And there's 2 other of the same exact light plugged into it because I'm a fucking bougie bastard. And I was like, I gotta have my stream set up nice. And only one of them does it.
And it's just the
So
same
I'm like,
one.
Yeah, and it's like only one of them does it. Out of all 3 of them, it's the same one, but it's like I don't know. And I've
Hasn't
unplugged
done
it.
it when I'm over yet.
I've unplugged and
Scared
plugged it
of
back
me.
in. It's
It won't do it when he's there.
No, it only does it like realistically when me or my wife, who investigates with us all the time, is like in the room basically, and it's like it just turned back on. Like, oh, hey, don't do that. I have a bill to pay. If you're gonna pay some
ghosts don't
fucking
care
bills,
Right? They don't care about bills. They're
oh
past
hell
that.
no. I don't know. I feel like we get followed like on a regular basis sometimes. Where like we also we don't do a whole lot of protection spells or like cleansings, because me and him both are like,
Yeah.
if a spirit wants to follow us, what's really gonna stop it? But I don't know. We've
Well,
had more encounters like that not doing it.
yeah, I think, and everybody's different about this,
Definitely.
but I think every team honestly needs to find what they're comfortable with doing
Right. Yeah.
as a
Like if it's a don't
ritual
come home with
or an
me,
act.
like that
Yeah,
could be your
yeah,
ritual.
yeah. Or as you're leaving, you guys have to stay here. You can't go with me. You know, uh, I always do a prayer before and after.
Yeah.
I have friends
We
that
did
white
one
light.
time and shit went crazy.
Yeah. I feel like when you bring religion into like old
So
spirits' homes, it like, oh, here you go. Like this is gonna ramp up real fast.
it can some places, yeah. But if you do, what I do is before I go in the place.
Mhm.
Now I used to do it like when I'd go in the old hospital. I do the prayer right there with everybody in the same room with me, out loud. But that was for public hunts.
Yeah.
So when we go on private investigations now, I sit in my car, gather my wits about me, say a little prayer to myself. I've already done some kind of, I don't know, even throwing salt in your shower, anything.
Never heard that one.
Yeah, it can, you can throw salt in your shower and just white light yourself in there. And
And
it's
it's a
just a
cleanse.
cleansing. Yeah,
Yep.
it's a cleansing ritual. But there's so many things. Even taking a little bit of rock salt,
Mhm.
just a couple of grains of rock salt, and just swallowing it. That's a ritual. Um,
Huh.
meditation, where you just
Meditation is real.
relax. Oh
I
man,
100% believe in meditation and breathing. Like breathing
absolutely.
techniques are fucking awesome. Like
Yes,
if people
yeah,
want to like laugh about that and like make fun of me
it's
all they
true though.
want, go ahead. But if you do one day feel like trying it just for the shits of it, you're gonna be like, oh, what the fuck? I feel great.
Yes,
I think
yes.
everyone does a little form of meditative breathing. Like it's how you make yourself fall asleep.
In the morning, like,
Uh
How
huh.
you wake
Uh huh.
yourself up.
yep.
Or even when you're not thinking about it, when you have
Mhm.
to take a deep breath. I mean, that's kind of resetting.
And the funny thing is too, you'll hear that on investigations and you'll be like, oh, that must be the wind. But realistically, that's also a normal motion that people do inadvertently that we don't know about because we're just doing it. And I mean, if push comes to shove, I'm gonna say like I
How
can't
about
fucking
words
talk
are
today. Words
hard.
are really hard. The prevailing theories that are like instated, like residual energies and like residual hauntings, like I would think 100% that like we'll hear those, like that mannerism or like that or the grunts when you get up, like it's just stuff that people just did. Like
Right.
I don't know. Or like another thing that I saw today was actually, this is so random, but in the Chris Watts case, when the police officers are like going through his house, they go into like his bedroom and they hear like a little girl laugh, and the police officer's body cam captures it, and everybody in the room was like, whoa, I heard that, I don't want to be in here anymore. And I was like, how is this not more mainstream and well known, where it's like that's a residual energy showing itself there? And
Mm-hmm.
it's because of how charged that whole fiasco was, because that fucking crazy asshole decided he was going to be a fucking, what do they call him, like familicider or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's another thing, is like I don't understand the psychology in people that do heinous crimes. Like it's so insane to me.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it.
And and then you like bring it back into the paranormal side of it, where it's like, is it like certain people have more of like an attunement to this stuff, or like
Yes. But everyone has the ability to.
I agree with that. And then now that they're looking into like serial killers' brains more, that there's like more like abnormalities in
Mhm.
that side of it that makes them more prone to it. So I know like it's not like a study that's ever been shown, but like I would really want to know like psychics and like people that are more attuned to like their you know, like I want to say like
Spiritual side.
frenetic feelings for like the other side. It's like,
Mhm.
what do their brains look like?
Right? I would love to know what Mark's. Speaking of Mark, he just called, and I was like,
Really?
"Oh, I can't talk to you right now, dude."
That's funny. Perfect timing too.
Yeah, yeah. He's actually gonna be at the investigation Saturday too. He's gonna do a remote for us.
I love that.
Remote viewing.
When people like do it and they, you know, like nail it, it fucking blows my mind. Cause like there's been
Yeah.
enough of accounts and like enough times that I've seen it attempted that like it fails miserably that it's like, okay, I don't know about this. But then when it does work and it's really, really accurate, it's like, stop that. What is this witchcraft?
Yeah, yeah. And how did that happen? How did that just happen?
The people
yeah.
still want to say it's all fake.
Well,
Like,
you know,
I mean, shit.
and two, the skepticism. You've got to be a skeptic.
You have to
You've
have
got to
skepticism
try
and
to
logic
rule out. Yeah, try to rule
before you
out
jump to any
everything you can.
conclusions.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. And there's some people like Sean, my co-founder. He came on board as my skeptic. He's
I love
learned
that
a
you guys
lot.
carry a skeptic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we all have to, you know. Oh, that was not a footstep. That was that cat just jumped down.
Me and
That's
Riley are big debunkers.
You gotta be.
But
You gotta
sometimes
be.
we get lost in the moment too.
Yeah, it's not hard to do that either.
No, it's
Right.
easy to get just like sucked into just like
No
the whole like, oh, that was exciting. Like, do it again.
Sean has had so many things happen to him since he's been on the team. We started the team in 2014, so 10 years. But
Awesome.
he has been on so long that he is not as much of a skeptic as he used to be. He's seen a lot.
Yeah, where you kind of like you come back from war, changed man.
Yeah. Oh man, we were at a public hunt at the hospital. This has been a few years back, and we had a big group that we had split up into 3 groups. So it was like 30 people. We'd split it up into 3 groups. And he took 10, I took 10, somebody else took 10. And we were making sure that we were all in a part of the hospital that we wouldn't contaminate each other's evidence.
Love that.
It's big enough that you can do that.
Right.
Well, we decided to take a break about halfway through. And I had gone back just to gather my wits, sit down, drink a little bit of water, just put my feet up for a second.
Have to recharge.
Get regrounded.
Yeah. And about that time, Sean comes busting through and he goes, I got to leave.
I got to leave.
You can't leave. You
Like,
got
why?
30 people. And he goes, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't
He
do
was
it.
shook.
And he goes out the door and that pissed me off. You got to explain to me.
Your immediate reaction is going to be, what the fuck, dude?
We've got 30 people here. You can't do that. So I go out to him and said, what? You can't go. You can't go.
Like, you are a leader.
Yeah. What happened? I can't talk about it right now. Well,
like, don't do this to me right now.
Take 10. Go ahead and take 10, but come back.
Yep.
And about that time, the 2 guys that were with him
Combusting out,
running up and go, Cyn, you'll never guess what happened. You'll never guess. And they started talking and they started arguing. And I was like, what the what is happening up there? They were on the 2nd floor, which is notorious for weird things happening at the hospital. And so they were each telling something different. And I was going, wait. How is that possible? I don't know. But so when Sean came back in, he had a 3rd version.
Oh.
The team the 10 people that they were taking through, Sean was leading.
Yep.
The other 2 guys on my team were at the back, making sure stragglers weren't straggling. You know,
they were doing their diligence.
Yeah, doing exactly what they were supposed to do. Sean saw a little boy at the far end of the hallway, and he was watching that little boy to see, wait a minute, did somebody bring a little boy? I don't remember a little boy.
Like,
and
we
this
have a group.
Right. But this was on the far end of the hallway. on the opposite side of the elevator, so way down. And the other two never saw the little boy. Nobody else in the group saw the little boy. And when Sean got up to where he thought the little boy had been, there was nothing there. And that's what freaked him out so bad. Okay, wait, I just really saw something. The other two, one of them said, we came up one stairwell and came down the other one, and we had gotten turned around. And that's what they were arguing about. No, we went up the normal staircase and came down the regular one. No, we didn't. We went. So this guy had seen something completely different. Now, these guys had not been drinking. They had not been doing any kind of drugs, anything like that. They were level-headed people. And the other one that said, no, we went up the normal staircase, but the walls never opened up. So what he meant by when the at the elevator section, it opens up really wide.
Yeah, it's like a landing.
Usually congregate. Yeah. It never happened. It stayed a narrow hallway the entire way down for him. Yeah. So all three had something different happen.
I just got chills.
Well, I tell you what, too, they lost time.
Yeah.
So it was like, was it a time slip?
Yeah, like did they just walk into a pocket? Like what the fuck?
What happened? And why were there three different versions?
I also love the saying, you know, the Great Lakes Spirit Seekers. Is that how you say that, right? I don't want to misrepresent. I forgot her name, but Sarah, thank you. Your employee friend, your coworker. She had said that you look at a burning building from, you know, different sides of the building, you're all going to have different perspectives of what the building looks like, but you're all looking at a burning building.
Right.
So it's like they witnessed something, like an event of some sort, and it's 100% classified as paranormal. I don't care if people want to say you got to see a ghost. No, any type of event like that is paranormal. Like that's so crazy. This is what I live for. This gets my chills and my vibes up. I love this.
I actually wrote about that one. That is in the first book. It's called Time Warp. It's called Time Warp.
This is why we do this.
Yeah,
guys, we need these books. We need to get these on fucking order now.
Yeah, link is in the description to your Amazon.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Of course.
And I tell you what, if anybody has Kindle Unlimited, they're free.
Ooh, that's also a very nice caveat for using Kindle.
Yeah.
If you're avid readers, I suggest you go do this for sure.
Definitely.
There's only one of them that's fiction. All the rest.
Okay. Oh, you do have a fiction book.
There is one, the green, the web of the little green one. Can you see the green? That's
yes.
That one's fiction. But look at Mark's.
Yeah, that pops.
Man. Let me see.
All of his artwork is incredible. I love the Whispers in the Dark one.
Good.
That one's so sick.
I love his
art in the book too.
Yes, he's incredible. He's incredible.
Ooh. What has been your favorite you know, like piece of work that you've authored so far? Like what was your favorite to work on?
I thought, well, I still like the scary stories. And my third book, They're Speaking, Are You Listening, was supposed to be my first book, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. I couldn't get it under my belt. And so
you want to produce the good, you know, the good stuff. You don't want to just throw something at a wall.
No, and you want to do it the way you're kind of seeing it in your mind, but you hadn't quite got the concept.
Yeah, it's Play-Doh. You got to form it.
Yeah. So what I did was just brought out the short story, the 23 short stories and Whispers in the Dark first. Got that one out. So I'm thinking, okay, I can write a book.
My foot's planted now.
Right.
We're here.
Right. And now I can work on my baby, the one that I really, really, really needed to get out.
My Magnus Opal.
Right.
Whoops.
So far. But I decided what I was going to do with that one. And it's investigations that I have been on personally. Yep. The first book is mostly mine, but a lot of Sean stories about him. Time Warp, of course, is in there.
Yep.
A couple of stories from the Lynchburg area around where
That's
Jack
interesting.
Daniels is made.
Yeah.
There's my vacation one, that one's in there. The Holiday Rush, that's in there. And then just different things. But my third one, the EVPs, what I decided to do was, as I wrote it, I gave you the option of going to elkvalleyparanormal.com to the evidence section. There's a drop down menu, and you click on their speaking, and you can actually listen to every EVP that's in that third book.
Oh.
That
So
link
there's-
is down there as well, people.
Yep. The link's in there too.
I actually have it pulled up.
Do
I
you?
want you to tell me which EVPs do you think are your absolute favorites, and we'll play them.
Okay. Well, the very first one that you see up there was my very first EVP that I got at the old hospital.
Okay, so the first floor office talking with owner, want to play?
No, it should be the Class A one you see.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we
For
got
some
it.
reason, it's in the middle and the bottom.
Yeah, it must have changed the order on us.
For some reason, some platforms change it on me, and I don't know why.
I've noticed that too for us. I changed like the thumbnail for Spotify, and like it'll not change it because of Podbean, and I'm like, okay, like it's
I
fine.
don't know.
Oh, that's so clean.
Right?
It
It's got,
sounds
like,
like
a weird
a
accent
legitimate,
to it.
like very breathy, like monotone, like woman, like.
And she did not want us there.
And I mean, like, don't take this the wrong way either. Like, you can definitely tell you have an accent, and like, like the draw. So it's like that.
Yeah.
That's even like less of an accent, and
Oh
like,
yeah,
what? That's wild.
yeah, yeah.
I have to listen to this one too.
Bobby would like to talk to me. I'd love to know who Bobby actually is.
Oh, it's at the end. Yeah.
Bobby would like to talk to me. I'd love to know who Bobby actually is.
Yeah. See, it's those type of sounds that you hear that it's like, unless you're like waving your recorder around or like blowing on it, you're probably
And I
not.
had to put my glasses on. Which one did you just play? Which one did you just play?
Spirit whistles. Don't take people home with you.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
it.
There's another one that at Hell's Bar Dam that is a chant, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I thought it was a military cadence. I couldn't figure it out. And do you see it on there?
I'd like to sing song not yet deciphered.
Yes, that's it.
Yep, that one.
To know if you're Cyn's cousin, if you're another Bobby.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
To know if you're Cyn's
Yeah,
cousin, if you're
This is like Christmas. What the fuck
another
is that?
Bobby.
Is that right? And so I asked everybody I could. I asked military people. I asked, people around that area. This was at Hell's Bar Dam in the Crossroads. And Matthew, that you hear speaking first, and I were there helping a public tour. And we were supposed to be telling them how we did burst sessions, how we caught electronic voice phenomenon and things like that. And one spirit actually walked between us and spoke, and we both looked at each other, and he said, "You heard that too?" And I went, "Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was." But he said, "I'd like to get justice." That's what we figured out later. I'd like to get justice. But the sing-song thing, I could not figure out. 3 years later, 2 or 3 years later, I was actually on Messenger with Mark, and we were talking about going back to Hell's Bar Dam and doing some experiments, and just wanted to go back because it's such a cool place. And I said, yeah. And there's the EVP I still cannot figure out. And he goes, really? Send it to me. So I emailed it to him. He called me. So let me back up a little bit. Right? So before I tell you what he said, Matthew and I are sitting in the crossroads between these groups. There were like 4 or 5 groups that came through.
Yeah.
So we would get a few minutes of break between the two, and then we'd go through a little spiel again. Well, he just, on one of the breaks, he needed to go out to the restroom. And he goes, you going to be okay here? And yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. So I was sitting there and I was trying to listen to anything that I'd gotten so far. We had one that was continuously going and then one that we were using for burst sessions only. And I was listening to the burst session. And he comes back and he goes, are you okay?
White.
And I said, yeah. Are you? And he goes, yeah, come here. I'm thinking, why are you
I guess show me a turd.
Why are you acting weird? Yeah, I don't want to see it. So he goes, just come here for a second. I walked 15 feet across this little crossroad area that, I mean, there's 4 tunnels that come together right there. And so I walked across to where he was standing
And you're
and
hearing
he goes, look behind you at your chair. And we had 2 chairs there, and I looked and there was this red mist.
What?
That was all around the chair. And as I went, oh, I didn't know that was there. He goes, you were in it. And then as we're sitting there watching, it just kind of dissipates and it pulls back into the tunnel. And we started following it. Like, where? What is that?
It's a
What is
lure.
that? Yeah. But then it goes around the corner and it's gone. I'm like, what happened? What was that?
Sus.
So, all right, we get through that. We get through a couple more weird EVPs that we get, and one's a grumpy little old man. You know, we finished the night. Fast forward, I'm talking to Mark. He calls me, and he goes, "Those are the Indians I've been telling you about."
Literally, that's what I was thinking as soon as I heard that.
He goes, yes. He goes, this was way before the white man was here. He goes,
definitely.
They have black on their eyes. There's a little bit of red and some white. They're short and they got their noses are pushed in a little bit. So not like normal Native Americans that we see pictures of. He said these are old Indian, old Native people, old way back.
Yeah, like,
and he said, you know they're there because they're real excited when people come to investigate because somebody wants to talk to them, and so they get real excited and they want to talk. And he said, they're there when a red mist shows up. I had not told him about the red mist.
Yeah, how do you know? Like what?
Right? It was like, okay, there went the chills.
Yeah, like this was my confirmation that I needed right there. Like he didn't have any inkling to that. I saw that.
No, and I had no clue.
Right? Yeah, you had no inkling either. Where it's like,
I just saw this crazy anomaly.
I mean, it makes sense though, because like you can hear the chanting, and it's like it's rhythmic. It sounds like.
Let's play it one more time.
Like, you know what I mean? Like if we. Like, because from the Great Lakes regions, like we have a lot of like history that was preserved well enough to where like there's a lot of stuff that we can go and listen to, but like that's
100%. If you're another Bobby.
Yeah, that right there. That.
Yeah.
Yep, that sounds like a straight up like a powwow right there. Like literally, like they're like like celebrating. Like hey,
they're so excited. Yes,
that's so fucking crazy actually, because you know for a fact that like if you're catching stuff from a different time era, like that has to be legitimate because there's not stuff like that going on the radio. There's not any interference that people are just going to be like blasting Native American radio. Like it's stuff like that where that's so genuine. And then you think when you get different languages, like we've encountered that a few times. Definitely, I know exactly what you're thinking of. Where it's like, well, what if they're immigrants? What if they came here and they're a German-speaking family? And then you look into the history and it's like, oh, this was a primarily German, like filled town when it was in its like fruition. What the fuck
Yeah.
is that then?
Yeah, you just never know. We've gotten Auschwitz down here at one of the local. It's an old mill, the
Mhm.
old elk mill, and I didn't know that there could have been immigrants
Yeah.
around here, because I found out later that across the county, one of the farms had been halfway built by, I guess it was the First World War,
Yeah.
German prisoners of war.
Yep.
And
So it's like
they
that
held
lines
it.
up pretty good.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I mean, if
So-
that shoe fits, I might wear it.
Right? You just never know what you're going to hear.
No, that's the fun part too. Like we investigated a farm that we had no. Well, let me back up too. Like I'm spinning my wheels way too fast here, and Riley can take over after I just like give you like the start of it. But he was like, we're gonna go on a little kayak trip to this park that's actually like a pretty big park that's mostly forest and
It's like
stuff.
across the bayou from my parents' house.
Yeah, so it was like really close. It was really close to home, and I was like, I'm all game. All right, let's do it. And then he did his diligence and did a bunch of digging, and he found out a bunch of stuff. And I'll let you take over and tell it because you tell it better.
Yeah, so like what it was is it's a family farm that was there for like 150 years in my hometown of Grand Haven, Michigan. And basically the grandfather, when he passed away and this family all, moved away or
Ludwig
whatever,
Vollmer.
he wanted his property to eventually become like a county park where anyone could like go and enjoy their land.
Mm-hmm.
And well, eventually that did happen. But I'd always gone by this place when I was a kid when their original house was still standing. And me and my friends used to go hang out in there and stuff. Because it was an abandoned house. And then I didn't realize that it was a park. So I was like, oh, well, we can just go there.
Do
whenever
ghost stuff.
and do ghost stuff. And I'm like, it's just woods now, but like maybe it's haunted, maybe it's not. Ended up being crazy haunted.
We were catching we caught Ludwig Vollmer on some of the equipment. Like not together, but it said Ludwig at one point. That was the original grandfather, like his name, like the original guy, and then we got Vollmer when we were doing an Estes method. So it's like this is interesting. So we're out somewhere where we have. I had no idea until Riley started feeding us the information as it was coming through. So it's like, oh, here's the confirmation. Like, oh shit, dude.
Wow.
Like, why are we getting that? Like that's not a coincidence. That's way too lined up.
Yeah. I guess that leads to like when you do an investigation, do you like to know the history before you go into it, or do you like to see if the things you capture relate to the history? Because I've found I like it both ways.
I do
like
too.
trying to see if my night matches what the history says.
Yeah, I do too. I want to know, I guess, a little bit, but the last investigation I did was Brushy Mountain Prison with Eric.
So cool.
Yeah, I went with Eric and Regina and them. And before we went, I got a phone call from Mark, and I'm working on his cookbook right now. So,
I love that.
My mean old grandma's good old cookbook, and it's got good stuff and really horrible stuff in it.
That's awesome.
And so the horrible stuff is going to have a skull and crossbones on it and say, if you're squeamish, don't open this page. Don't go there.
Liver and onions, honey.
I know. No. Oh, no. So much worse.
Oh
my God. Some of this stuff is like possum.
Oh, yep.
And
Possum.
just, oh my gosh.
Weird Wednesdays. Yep. Weird Wednesdays.
Holy cow. He's sending me stuff. I'll be so happy going around. Oh, pistachio pudding. Oh, orange cake. And then I'm like,
mouse stew
with some kind of roadkill feeling.
Possum brain
Yeah,
jello.
it's just like, oh God.
woodchuck roast.
tuna jello or something.
Oh my
It's like,
God.
oh God,
Heat it with crackers is recommended.
Terrible. Anyway, he calls me and he goes, "What you doing?" I said, "Guess where I am?" And he goes, "I don't know." And I said, we're at in Harriman, Tennessee, but we're going to Brushy Mountain tomorrow. And he goes, what's Brushy Mountain? And I said, you don't know
What?
about the prison? And he goes, oh, it's a prison? So he'd never heard about it, never been. And I said, yeah, Greg's here. He's going to go with me. We're going to do the day tour, but he's not going to go investigate at night. And he goes, oh, yeah, he will. I said, no, he's
he
not
won't.
going to do the night tour. He's just going to go to the day tour, and we're going to eat. And then we're coming back to the room. And then I'm going back with Eric. And he goes, no, Greg's going. And I went, no, he's not, but I want to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with you. And he goes, I said, so you don't know anything about it? And he goes, no. He goes, but when you get there, when you go in the front door, to your left, there's going to be a guy standing there. It's Bobby. His real name is Robert. I think he got gut shot or gut stabbed. And I went, wait a minute. You said you didn't know anything about this. And he goes, I'm doing a remote. He was doing a freaking remote at the second. And I'm like, okay, all right. What are you seeing? Because I'm going to write this down. All right. So he said, to the right of Bobby, he said, he's from cell block B is what I'm getting. And I said, are you sure you've never been? He goes, no, I really don't. I don't know where it is. And he goes, but to the right of Bobby, there's some kind of weird triangular energy thing. I don't know if it's a portal. I've never seen anything like it. Whoa. I don't know. It's just a really weird triangular shape something. And I went, okay. And he said, in front of that, there's a woman. Maybe she was a nurse. I don't know. She goes by this. And I wrote all this down. Behind her, there's a line of men. They're all lined up down the hall, very respectfully. Two lines just really close together, like they're in line for something. I don't know what they're doing. He said, but you might be able to ask some questions to them when you go in. All right. So fast forward, Eric doesn't like to know anything about anything when he goes to investigate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Austin, on the other hand, Austin Lawrence, that he and Eric are filming the Strangely Haunted series. Yep. So Austin is a good buddy of mine too. And I asked Austin, I said, do you want to know what Mark said? He goes, yes, I do. Let me know. And I said, okay. So when you walk in the front door to your left, there's going to be a guy, Bobby. He goes by Robert. And he went, what? And I went, why are you being weird? He goes, I've been having a dream about some guy named Robert for the last little bit. And I went,
that's very specific.
Yeah. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I don't know who it was. And he goes, but you just verified why I was having the dream. Damn. And he goes, what about this Robert guy? I said, well, Mark said he's either been gut shot or stabbed in the abdomen, but he doesn't know why. And to the right of him, there's some kind of triangular energy field. He doesn't know if he's getting his energy from there or getting energy from everybody walking in the prison to investigate. He's not sure, but that's where he hangs out, cell block B.
Like an electric chair right there and fucking a bunch of
something
shit.
Really weird. Oh, it's worse. It gets really weird. It gets really weird. So I tell Austin what I know. And he goes, okay, I'm excited about tonight. Well, then Eric comes up to me and he goes, we had 2 people cancel, so Greg gets to go tonight.
What the fuck?
Wait.
What? So Mark knew Greg was
what?
How did you do that?
Nostradamus it? Like the fuck?
So then I get a text from Austin, and he goes, Cyn, you're not going to believe this shit. You're not going to believe this. But I just asked Eric if he knows anything to do about a triangle at the prison. And he said, yes, there was a love triangle where a guy got gut shot or gut stabbed.
Oh my God.
What? And it was on cell block B. I went, how is that even possible?
That's
How
not.
does he do that?
It goes against everything that we've ever been taught, that we've been told, that all logic is out the window there, and that this stuff has more credibility than we know.
Yes.
You can go somewhere that you've never been.
Yeah, he 100% just proved it to you. And I believe you as the most credible witness that I've met in a very, very long time, you know, where it's like, how does one interact with something they've never seen before? And like that blows me away. And just for you to just like be in that moment too, just to be like, yeah, I'm just going, like I'm excited. And then just to have this bombshell of a nuclear, like, hey, guess what? By the way, and then
Yeah.
and the way he explains it too, where it's like a triangle thing, like it's not, you know, like how does
He
one
didn't understand
see,
it.
yeah,
He
how does
said-
one
he-
see the love triangle? And
Right.
it's like,
He
no,
said,
if
it's so weird. It's such a weird triangle.
So-
I've never seen anything like it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a portal or what.
it
But
was a portal to hell.
it
Straight
was
to the gut
so-
shot.
It was such a weird. I think he was stabbed, actually. I think he was stabbed.
I mean, all the same though, where it's just like
He
you
was-
can't get any closer than that. And I
No.
mean, coincidences are coincidences, but like,
Predict the
Really?
story,
That's
like,
a lot of coincidences.
yeah,
right
like
there.
really. Like we got a 0.000000001% chance that actually is a coincidence, and that's not something like what do they call
for
those?
one, there's a trillion names he could have picked. There's
Oh, definitely.
1,000 shapes he could have picked.
Yeah,
Right?
he could have easily just said as like because John Doe. He could have said John.
There's 20
Yeah,
different lettered alphabets that he can pick for
been
yeah,
Del
cell
Mar.
block.
And he says B.
So, like, I mean, his chances of getting all of that right are like winning the lottery.
Exactly.
There's too many variables to
And
just.
I'm sure it's like it comes to him. It's not like, you know, like he goes and seeks a lot of it out where it's like he probably like has times where it's just like a mental block, you know. Like I mean that's just me speculating too, because I don't
He
know how
has
it works
to.
with everybody.
He takes time. He has to take time out. Quite
Yeah,
often.
I feel like it's like the
you know,
muscle you're
push it.
training too, you know, where it's like you
Mhm.
exert it and then it's like I don't know what kind of like exertion that level takes. I'm sure it's immense. So I would imagine that cool down period, like if we're playing video games, is like the long one.
Mhm, mhm. I will say that whenever I'm around Mark,
Mhm.
I'm not psychic, but whenever I'm around Mark, things pop into my head
Really?
and I blurt them out. And it's like things I don't know. Over at Lynchburg Haunted Home, he actually came to do a seance with us as we were doing our investigation. Seance was going to be part of it. Automatic writing was going to be part of it.
Automatic
and-
writing is so cool.
Oh, he's amazing
We've
at
done
it.
it once and it was
And it worked.
actually crazy.
It's so cool to watch it too. It's just, that's when he was doing automatic writing and somebody showed up behind him. I didn't see him, but Sean saw him and looked around and said, "Who is that?"
Like
Oh,
somebody in the group just walked up.
where'd they go? Yeah, but it was
But it
nobody.
wasn't.
It was somebody there. Yeah, at the funeral home, but it wasn't one of us.
Yeah, it was somebody else's presence.
Yeah, it was some other energy. But oh man, it's just
That's so cool.
he's incredible at
That's-
everything. But
That is incredible.
one of the other guys said, "Oh, you know, there's the female. A lot of times she's upstairs, sometimes she's down." I said, "No, she's upstairs right now." And then I went, "Why
How
did
do I know that?
say that?" I'm sitting right by Mark, and Mark just went, "Yep."
Do you get like that presence, you know, where it's like and this is gonna sound so fucking weird, but like some people just like ooze this like almost like this weight when you
They
get
ooze
around
it?
them. Yeah, it just oozes out of them.
Out
Like
of their pores?
yes. But like it's not in a bad way, but like how you're saying it's almost like you're getting fed like this information. It's almost like they have such an like
See,
a big like umbrella that you
I
when you
know
enter that it
exactly.
happens.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I've had those images. They just like they're flash images.
Mhm.
They're like, I don't know if it's like this for you for when I do have them because I've had them a couple times. Is I can see it with my brain, but I can't see it with my eyes.
Right.
It's like a filter in the back of my head that like
It's also hard to
like
get out in
projected
words.
in your mind that you can see.
I've
like-
noticed that too, where it's like
It's-
when you go to talk
I don't
about
really
it.
know how to put it into words, but it's almost like the image I'm supposed to see is projected in my mind, but my eyes know it's not there.
It's your projector reel playing on the back of your forehead.
Yeah. It's just
your eyes say it's not there, but is it really
True.
not there?
Well,
true.
I mean, if we're gonna get really technical, our eyes are actually not seeing right now. They're just taking in light, and what's happening is actually connected to our brain, and that's where we're getting all these visual things. So, like, realistically, what the fuck?
I like you two guys. I
Wait.
want to investigate with you two.
Hell yeah, let's run that
That would
shit.
be
I'm always
so
down.
great. That would be great.
We always love to, like, we always say, like, the hypothesis side of this is the most fun because there's no right answer, and we
No.
are all speculating at every aspect of this. Where I mean, it's basically playing
It's-
darts or fish. Like
It's when the things that like you can't explain and you
the
happen to
unicorns.
you catch it and you're able to show other people
Mhm.
that you had this event and like validate it with the film. That I think
Yep.
is makes it so much
That's
like,
why it's like
fun
you're
because like
filming horses
gosh.
and there's a unicorn over
like
there.
I love hunting for one for me. So like I'm already addicted to like the chase of something and like trying to get something the perfect way that I want it to happen. And like ghost hunting is not like that at all.
No, it's so different.
You can't predict anything. Like hunting, you can kind of predict deer and everything, but ghost hunting, you can't predict anything.
It's
You
that-
just have the experiences of people you know that have went there and that you can watch.
Dude, it's when that event happens though, and you see that proverbial unicorn. Like I love that saying. It's just my favorite thing in the world. It's just like I know what a horse looks like, dude. Like I know what real is. What is that? Like that has to have some grounding here because I really just had that happen. But what is that?
Mhm.
And that's the paranormal. Like that's the
Yeah.
fun part. I mean, I also like give it a lot of weight that maybe it is like there's like some type of energy that we just have not sussed out yet.
I think so.
That's the realm where it's just here. Like there's no questioning it. Like we're all just like just playing with the wires until the wires cross enough because maybe it has to do with electric. Like EMF definitely is like a big part of this.
Let me tell you a little story about my nephew. Wyatt was my mini-me
Mm.
and 19 and a half. And I was training him to be my videographer. So he was starting to go on investigations. I made him wait until he was 18 to take him on investigations. And he was learning all the ins and outs, what you shouldn't do, how you can't talk.
Yeah,
all
don't
the
provoke.
time.
It's
You
not
can't,
smart.
you got to watch your footsteps. If you do that, you got to say, that was my footsteps. Sorry.
Yeah, if
Or
you toot, you got to call it.
the whole thing. So he had been around long enough to hear me and Sean, especially Sean. Sean had this way of saying, okay,
Under
if
the
we
wing.
got anybody around here, I need you to speak as loud as you can, get to as close as you can to that red dot and talk into it as loud as you can so we can hear you. And Wyatt listened to all of us and listened to how we were asking questions. Well, at this time, I had been writing my 4th book and started It's Not Goodbye, Signs from Beyond. And this book was completely different. It was the one that God just put it in my lap and said, you need to write a book about signs. And I was like, I don't know anything about signs.
Yeah, like this is new to me.
I know some ghost hunting stuff. I can write scary stuff, but I don't have anything other than mom seeing my grandmother, hearing my grandmother, seeing my dad, hearing my dad. I didn't really have a lot. So I started writing it and everybody else thought it was a great idea. And I'm like, great. I just don't have any stories.
I'm glad you guys think this is a good idea.
Oh, I'm good. Good then. It'll sell if I can write enough. But I put a feeler out on Facebook and said, I'm looking for near-death experiences, deathbed conversations where, your loved one is about to die and they're sitting there talking to somebody in the room you can't see.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Pennies left behind, cardinals, feathers, cologne you can smell in the air of your lost loved one, perfume, flowers that show up, picture that shows up out of nowhere, song that plays on the radio at the perfect time. Yeah. And cats even coming back, cats and dogs, seeing an apparition, dreams, visions, all that kind of stuff. If you got anything like that, please send it to me. I got whoosh.
Just
I got a book.
overload.
I got a book. Okay, I got a book now. So I started writing it, and I was doing pretty good. And then 2020 and all the mass hysteria hit, and I lost motivation. So I lost motivation with everybody in the country. And then I didn't get it back. I didn't get it back the next year. So we're doing little investigations at a while, once in a while in 2021. And I'm training Wyatt. And then 2022, a good friend of mine in town said, "How's the book going?" It's not. I don't have my
those wheels are stagnant.
Yeah, they are stuck. They're completely stuck. I can't get them rolling. And she goes, "When were you supposed to do it?" And I said, Easter 2020. I said, and then Easter 2021. She goes, "It's a month before Easter 2022. And I went, "Oh, there's no way. I can't do it." She goes, "I bet you could." I said, "Well, let's see how much I can get done." So boom, I got the kick in the pants I needed.
Yeah. The competitive spirit.
Yeah. And so within the next week and a half, 17 stories.
Jesus.
Boom, 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 boom. I was back.
Yeah, cranking it.
Then we lost Wyatt.
I'm sorry.
That's
tough.
It was an accident, motorcycle accident. 19 and a half years old. He was in his second semester college, 4.0, working 2 jobs, helping his mom. It was just him and his mom. He was the only grandchild. He was the only son. He was the only nephew. I mean, he was my mini me. He did everything.
You were creating him in your image.
Well, and he would go to murder mysteries with me, and just fun stuff. And he'd call me
my little buddy.
He was. He'd call me up and go, "Aunt Cindy, I'm thinking about Olive Garden. What are you thinking about?" "Well, I am now."
Well, we're going.
Let's go. So, he was just fun. He was just really fun. So when we lost him, of course, motivation went out the window again.
Oh, definitely.
But about 2-3 weeks later or so, it hit me. Damn it. That's why I was supposed to write this damn book. It's about Wyatt. It's about Wyatt. He started showing up as soon as he died. He started showing up. But the first thing that happened, and I told you I never heard from my dad, never got a sign from my dad. The day we had to go to the morgue for Wyatt, I have to look in my truck to get in and out of it. I have 2 total knees and a total hip, so I've got to be real careful.
Right.
I'm like bionic, but I got to be careful. But so I always look down, and there was nothing in the threshold the night before, the day of. I keep change in my truck in a little coin purse, and it wasn't open. And I'm the only one that drove the truck. So I come back out. My husband gets there after work, and my mom, I said, "Mom, you need to eat something." She said, "I'm not hungry." I said, "You got to eat something. How about at least a milkshake?" And she said, "A small one if you go get it for me." And so I said, "Greg, go with me." So he climbs in the passenger side, and I open my door, and there is this bright, shiny, new penny right in the threshold. And I picked it up. I wish I'd taken a picture, but I picked it up and went, "Pennies from heaven." And Greg said, "What did you just say?" And I held it out to him, and I said, "Pennies from heaven." And he goes, "There you go." And I thought, but wait a minute, it's not Wyatt. That's too fast. It was an accident. So he's still kind of going, "What happened?"
Yeah,
so,
crash control.
So I'm like, I think that's Daddy. I think that's my dad, because he was a coin collector. And so I didn't say anything to Mom when we took her a milkshake. I was talking to her the next day on the phone, and we were still going, "I can't believe this has happened. This is ridiculous. This shouldn't have happened."
Yeah, and your dad was looking out for you.
Yeah, well, then she said, "I just want a sign from him that is okay." And I said, "Well, Mom, I think I got a sign. It's not from Wyatt, but I think I got a sign from Daddy." And she said, what do you
What?
mean? And I said, I found a penny yesterday in my threshold in my car, in my truck. And she went, I found one today. I said, where did you find it? And she said, right at the foot of the steps. It wasn't there yesterday. It
Yeah.
wasn't there this morning. I just
Damn.
found it. I just found it. And I said, okay, that is Daddy. He
Yep.
came to say, I'm with him at the morgue. I'm with him.
The
And
guiding light.
Yeah. And he came to my mom to say, I got him. I got him. And so fast forward a little bit more, and Mom, who is a skeptic, says, I think something odd has happened. And I said, what's wrong? She said, well, I think Wyatt visited me. I said, really? What
Yeah,
happened?
your mother of all people too.
My mother, yeah. And she said, I don't know. She said, he showed me some pictures. And I said, what?
Yeah, what?
And she said, I was minding my own business, reading my Kindle, and then it just powered down. And so I thought, oh, well, I'm going to play a game until you get here, because I always go see her on Tuesday nights. And she said, I was just going to play a game, and my phone powered down. And I was like, well, guess I'm just not supposed to do any of that stuff today. I'll just get a paperback book out and read a little bit. But as soon as she thought that, the phone powered back up, and across the top of it said Wyatt Johnson. And then pictures started flashing up. And she said there were about 8 to 10 pictures, and they were of him in a red short sleeve shirt. And I said, well, really? And she said, yeah. She said, I've not seen those pictures before. She said, will you find them on the phone? Because I really want to look at them again. They went by so fast. And I said, yeah, give me your phone. And I went through. The only pictures of Wyatt on there are the 2 that I took when she first got her phone.
What?
And he's not wearing red. And I looked all through, and I'm like, is it, what did he have on? And she said that red shirt. And I said, well, I've got a couple of pictures of him in a red shirt. Was it this? And she goes, no, not that one. It was, I said, well, I've got another one. Hang on. And I pulled up the sleeveless one. She said it was that material, but he had sleeves in it, which he did. He had a shirt like that. And I said, but I don't have a picture of the sleeve one. I looked all through it, and I said, it's like this gray one that we had pictures made for his senior year. And she said, yes, but it was the red one. And I said, I don't have any pictures of him in that red shirt. So I looked through Wyatt's phone. I looked on his, I took the card out, his SIM card out.
Oh, the SIM card, yeah.
Yeah, I took the SIM card out of 2 different phones. No, there's no picture of that. Not anything on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. There is not him in a picture with that shirt on. So this is still a mystery. We can't find it. And I was like, to me, it was like, okay, I get it, Wyatt. I'll send him. And Mom goes, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I just sent Susan a bunch of pictures and videos from his iPad. And it was too late to send them to you because I didn't want you to think they were coming from Wyatt and freak out like you are right now. And I let Susan, my sister, know I'm sending these from his tablet, so it'll look like it's coming from him. And she said, that's fine, send them. And I did the same, sent them to Mom, and she says, those aren't them. Those aren't the pictures I saw. And I said, I don't know, Mom. I don't know. No idea. But
he showed himself. He said, hey, and he's younger. He knows technology. You know what I mean?
And remember, I told him,
think of that.
I told you he was listening to us, right? So in February 2023, it was actually the 23rd in 2023 of February. I'm over at my sister's. She's telling me a story of Wyatt visiting her.
Mhm.
And something that he made happen. And it's in that Cyns book. It's to make a long story short,
Yeah.
while she was telling me this story, 6 minutes and 42 seconds in, I hear something. So it took me 2 months after February to have to listen to that story again because it hurt so much.
Yeah, it's raw.
Right. And so I had to wait to transcribe it. And so 2 months
Yep.
later, I'm transcribing it, and I get to 6 minutes and 42 seconds in, and I hear a couple of little taps, and then Wyatt says, "Did you hear that?" Really loud, right in the red dot. I have never heard or gotten an EVP so clear that everybody I play it for goes, "Oh, he says, did you hear that?" There's no doubt about it. And it's Wyatt. It's almost a year after he died.
Wow.
That's
I mean,
because
wow.
I mean, Wyatt was into the paranormal. He was young. He probably like, well,
Real
if
good with
I am dead,
electronics.
Yep.
like I'm gonna make sure that everyone knows that I figured it out.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
then I
just
mean,
feel
like,
because I feel like every paranormal
did he
investigator
have that
feels
type
like
of humor too, where
when
he's
I
like,
pass-
Oh, you
when I
know,
pass, I'm gonna fuck with everyone. But I'm gonna let the people I love know that I'm here and I'm being a ghost.
he has let his mom know so many times it's almost ridiculous.
hmm,
The thing he started doing to my mother was with her Kindle after the T-shirt thing.
yeah,
I came in one night and she goes, "We got to send this Kindle back." And I said, "You just got it." She
It's
goes, "No,
acting
there's
up."
something. Yeah, there's something wrong with it, Mom. It's new. What's it doing? It'll flip forward and then flip right back. And well, are you touching it? No, I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, minding my own business,
yeah, it's on my
out
lap.
in front of me. Yeah, no, it's out in front of her. And
Yep.
when I get to the end of the page, I'll tap it, and then that's it. And she said, "But I'll be sitting there reading, and the thing will flip over by itself and then roll back."
What the
And I
hell?
said, "Really? How many times does that happen?" She said, 2 or 3 times just today.
It's
and-
like a heat pressure sensor. Like what?
And I said, how far ahead does it go? "Oh, it goes into the next chapter at least." I said, "Does it come back to exactly where you were?" And she said, "Exactly." And I
Boy.
said, "Who could that be?" And she goes, "Is that my baby?" And I said, "I think so.
It's
I
those
think-
little signs.
I think he's messing with you just to try to get you to smile." I said, "So next time it happens, just close it and talk to him." And that's what she did.
Yeah. I mean, I really think those little affirmations like that are real, because like that's not very common. You know, like it might be a software issue, but it's also like it's very, very odd for it to do that in particular, where it's like not just not working, like it's working correctly, but it's
Yeah.
like it's like it's tapping itself,
and
like
if you look at it, like it's not acting weird, it's someone
manipulating it.
manipulating it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That- oh my god.
Because
And
they're playing a joke or whatever.
I really like, these are the stories that are so wholesome to me, where it's like it's stuff like this, if you pay attention to it instead of just writing it off immediately, which I would say probably like 75% of like the general population does.
I
It's
think
like,
so too.
I mean, like you don't even have to throw the whole religion side into it. Like there's something after in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Whether that is like a plane of reality that's split where for bad people and good people, or it's just a plane of reality that is,
Right.
and we don't know what that
That's
is.
the beauty is you have the right to believe whatever you
And
want
yeah,
to
exactly.
believe that it
Absolutely.
is.
God could be the universe.
But there's people that are out there that it's not just enough to believe, like we want to know. You know, like I want.
I'm just
I don't
morbidly
want to
curious.
believe in anything. I want to know. I want to know. I want to have hope that
like I got this
we can
tism that I need
eventually
to
as
know everything about
humans
this.
figure this out, because I always look back at the one question humanity has wondered forever
And never
is,
been
what
able to
is
answer.
after death?
Yeah,
Because
what
like you
is?
look at the Mayans, the way they
The
treated
rituals.
death, like death was an honor. You were honored to die. You
Sacrifice
were
for the
punished to
crops.
Yeah.
live, and you were honored to die for
Right.
the gods. So
We're living in mortal coils that are constantly like oxygenating and killing themselves. So like realistically, like our sentience, I don't think realistically was supposed to be in this flesh bag. Like it just makes more sense that like
we're supposed to be robots.
one that too. We need to be bionic. I need to be a Terminator. They're fucking sweet. But like when we do pass on, like maybe that like eternity is actually like where the choices are made, you know, where like it's if you want to like give it another go, like you got another 100 years, which is like your potential. Maybe you'll live that because you know, like you didn't get your checkpoint fast enough. I don't know.
Ran out of hearts.
But you know, like it's those little things where it's like it could be like a video game. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
Like,
none of us
you
do.
really don't.
None of
I
us
just
do.
love speculating because it's interesting, you know.
I know that Mark, before he could really, really do what he's doing, he just knew he was different and he wanted
Yeah.
to learn about spirit. He had grown up in a house full that on his mother's side, they had a lot of people that had seen spirits.
Yep.
And, you know, if a spirit came running through and scared everybody, they'd say, "Oh, don't worry, that's just Aunt Esther," or, you know, whatever. So
It's fine. She's just coming through.
This is what she does.
well, then when he was in his late 20s, or maybe when he was 30 years old, I can't remember the exact.
We'll ballpark it.
Yeah, somewhere in that time frame, late 20s, early 30s. He was beat to an inch of his life.
It's the near-death experiences that I really do think open that third eye or whatever, like whatever you want to call it, your mind's eye, where it's like
That's
it's
what happened to
Dementia
him.
too.
Yeah,
Dude,
They-
that is another wild thing. Like
Mhm.
when you do start like losing your grip on sanity, like are we realizing that like they're actually like perceiving what reality is?
There's some crazy stories with my mom's told me
Hiders.
some weird shit. My mom's a hospice nurse. So
Oh man,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the death stories are really crazy.
got some really crazy stories that she's heard from some patients' families and stuff that
you
like
might want to send
be like
some.
they was talking to our great grandfather the other day and all this stuff. And mom was like, well, he's got dementia, but I mean, also don't put away that like it probably was them.
Yeah, and I mean like
Probably really
you
was
follow
talking
the
to them.
rabbit hole and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
like he was like your family with General Custard, like, and you were talking to him, like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's stories of that too, where people be like, okay, why was my, mom, dad, whoever it is, talking to this person? That's so weird. And then you
And
look
then
down the family line,
lineage.
and you're like,
Whoa.
Wow.
what?
Yeah, and there's no possible way that you know that. Like 20, I mean, like we'll be realistic. Like it was very expensive until now, like this day and age, to get a DNA test where it's now just readily available. People weren't doing that. You had to have a specialist that was like $5,000 to go fucking do that shit.
Mhm.
How did my grandpappy know that? Like,
Right. Right. So something happened. He was seeing something
yeah,
that nobody else was.
100%.
Yeah.
Do you believe in reincarnation? Like, do you think
I
like
do.
it's like I think there's like a weird divide between like, like I think there's a spirit realm and then like I think we do get the choice of being like reborn into
And I
a
think
new
that's
life.
it. I think it's a choice.
Because like it would make sense why we have the long-standing spirits that are like too stubborn where it's like, nah, dude, my life sucked. I don't want to go back.
Sometimes I have this weird theory that some of our irrational fears that we have are because of a past life traumatic.
Yes. Yes.
So like
I
I have
believe
this
that.
crazy irrational fear of falling from a long fucking distance. I've never fallen off anything or like have like a life experience right now that should relate to me having a fear of falling.
Yeah,
Right.
like what is that?
So like why do I fear from like falling? I climb trees, I go hunting, and like I'm scared that I'm gonna fall out of the tree. That's rational because it could happen, but I take all the safety precautions. I shouldn't feel that. Like,
Yeah. But where
so
did that come
it's
from?
irrational.
I'm
though.
like, well, what if in a past life I was like a World War vet that like
jumped
their
out of a plane,
parachute
and then,
didn't open, or they
a
got
lot
shot
of
down in
accounts
the
of
air?
that.
Like,
Absolutely.
I don't know.
It
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mhm.
I don't think we can really like take. I mean, granted, there are a lot of accounts of people faking that stuff, but like everybody in everywhere, people lie. I'm not. You can't stop that. I'm
No.
sorry. Like that's just people are terrible and people lie. But there's a lot of genuine people out there too. Where if you really do find these like very interesting stories where you like follow the trails and you really do your diligence to like do your proper research on it, it's like, oh, this is real. That what is that? Like once again, I've seen a unicorn that there's no reason, rhyme or way that this is possible, but it's happening.
That's right. That's right. My best friend is about terrified of you're terrified of heights. My best friend is terrified of those big wind turbines
Ooh.
and rope. And when she told me rope, I got chills and I said, "Oh, Sherry," I said, "You were hung in a past life."
Sounds
And
like
she
it.
went, "You don't tell me that." And I said, "But I have no idea what the turbine is." She
I
goes,
mean,
"I just
think
can't."
about how they built them back in the day, though. They didn't build them like silos and massive. They built them just big enough in the crop fields, or on top of the house to like check if a tornado's coming. And
Mhm.
I mean,
I
those
don't
are
think that's what they were
well,
for.
I'm probably not. I mean, honestly, I'm an idiot. But like, they probably
lives in
put
the
it.
reality of 1994.
But they did it like
Twister.
like the tower like in Paris and shit instead of more like tubes where it's like there's probably like beams and stuff you can get hung off of easily.
Yeah.
I mean, like street justice was more likely back then. And yeah, I don't know my fucking country shit.
That is one thing America
I've
was
been to
very good
Iowa
at in the
one
day
time.
was street justice. We have that down. It was a giant event.
Mm.
That's crazy to think
that
about
is
too.
crazy.
That like public hangings were like the most popping thing.
People
in
were like
town.
going and
Friday
celebrating.
night, like going to John's.
Yes.
Like, bring the
Like,
mead.
what the fuck?
Taking picnic lunches.
Yeah, like let's bring the kids down here. It's a whole event.
Gettysburg is like, let's go just sit on the hillside
Yeah, and
watch
watch
the
people
war.
kill each other.
What?
Yeah. I
See,
mean,
This is
Different time.
mind-blowing.
That's why I wonder too, like if we're seeing these events replaying, like I wonder if those are time slips, and that's a paranormal event all on its own. Maybe it's not like a spirit
yeah.
per se, but like
I mean,
it's
we've
fucking
talked
time
about
overlap.
this too. Like, what if time slips for them too, and they're seeing the future?
Yeah, they see
Right.
They're seeing you, you're seeing them, and then
There's a lot of Vietnam vets that have reality shifts like that, where they'll be like there, and then they'll be like not there for like a second, and then they'll
Right.
be like, "What? Whoa!" Like,
yeah.
who are you? And they'll be like like a city all of a sudden, and like then they'll snap back and they're standing in the exact same position. And it's like, did you
Yeah.
just slip? And then next thing you know, like in an alley, somebody just saw a weird fucking apparition.
See,
What is that? It probably happens a
don't
lot more than
know.
you think.
I think so too. And are the ghosts that we're seeing, are they really ghosts, or is that a time slip?
We gaze into the abyss, and the abyss gazes back onto the.
Yep.
I mean, I think there's so much more validity in that than we know, because when you get like a reaction from a reaction, like you walk into a room and then everybody goes, "Oh my god," like when something goes off, and then it's like it jumps back and it stops going off for a while. Yeah, that's a fucking natural reaction because we just did the same thing. Like
Yeah.
that makes so much sense to me.
yeah, they're like, okay, if I do this, what happens? And then you do it, and they're like, whoa, whoa,
And then they snap out.
What's going on? What did I do?
And then
break it.
And they go get their friend, and that's when you get other voices, and then you hear them talking to
Uh-huh.
each other, and it's like this makes no sense. But like realistically, they're like, "What? Hey, what?"
Watch this.
And yeah, it's like a broken TV signal. Like I mean, they're just popping in for a second. Like maybe that's what it is. Like I don't know.
Yes.
It's like a
Maybe it
forever rerun of like Friends.
Yeah, I don't know. There's this one residence I went to. You were asking about EVPs earlier. One of my favorite. This is one of my all-time favorites, and I knew somebody was around me, but I couldn't see them.
Yep.
But
Present.
yeah, I knew they were there, And it was just before we actually started the investigation. So I said, okay, I know somebody's here with me. I'm going into the next room. Come with me. And so I was just taking pictures and go to the next room with me. About the third time I said that, this little grumpy little old man said, I got a better idea than to follow you around all night.
That's a very long, articulated sentence. Like, and it was like 100% like a reaction.
Did you find it?
I found it.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
Yeah, I tell you though, you got to tell your listeners to really listen with headphones and earbuds, and even
Always
then,
the best
Lock on.
experience.
Lock
even
on.
then, you got to listen over and over because this guy had a lot to say, but it's not. He doesn't talk like we do. There's a couple of pauses at weird spots,
Yeah.
but
He's got
this
a
is
cadence to him.
him. Mm-hmm. Come with me.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, like you can tell that it's like it takes a breath. Yeah. I have a better idea than to.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's a lot to say.
He was one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites.
That's intriguing as shit because like we've actually encountered something very similar recently at our in our very backyard in Van Buren County. There's a poorhouse that's the only one in Michigan. It's the last one standing, and we captured like full-blown EVPs of like full sentences, just like that. But we like our friend Tommy and Randy were with us, and Tommy was doing the flashlight, and he was like turning it on, and he goes, like, do you like it when I have the flashlight on? And then you hear a voice go, turn it off. And then he turns it off. And then you hear a voice right after that go. And then my dumbass, I walked into the building too at the beginning of the night. And I was like, can I have a hug? I want a hug.
Touch me, love me,
Touch me, love me, hug me. So like we go upstairs and I'm like, can I have that hug now? And then like a little girl's voice goes, Trevor, no, it doesn't say Trevor. It says hug, and then it says you can have a hug now later in the night, and then my name gets said later in the night.
Wow.
And it's like,
and then it says,
yeah, and then like a deeper, darker like voice.
Says, can't have a hug.
And
now.
and it's like a full sentence.
It's
like
so
a cadence.
creepy. It's so creepy.
Yeah, it's the Van Buren County poorhouse, and it's probably about 3/4 of the way through is when we start catching a lot of the EVPs. But the beginning of the whole investigation too was very interesting. Cat balls, like really weird occurrences. We were playing hide and go clap at one point. Like I love when you can play games where it's like, hey, you ever done this? And then you get claps back, and you're like, oh.
Like,
wait a minute. What is hide and go clap? I might want to try.
Oh my god, this is the most fun game ever. So like if you're playing with not dead people, you would have somebody in a house or something, like usually you would blindfold them. And I know that sounds dangerous, but like we were rambunctious kids. We wouldn't go running through the house. You don't stub your toe if you stick your arms out and like crab walk. So you would be like, you have 5 claps, I will find you blindfolded, but you have to clap so I can find you by sound. So I was like, I'll find you, but you have to do this. And then almost instantaneously we heard
from like 3 floors up.
Yep. And we were standing right next to a stairwell. Like we all thought we heard it like from the other side of the room, but now that I think about it, if it was like floors up, it probably like came a little bit of both ways because we were in between 2 stairwells as well. So I was like, oh shit.
That's awesome though.
Yep. So I mean, like we like to try like hot and cold. Like if you're doing like an ested method and you want to try like the person to get up
like,
and move around.
Tell like you were with a child spirit, like they'd have so much fun if you play hide and go seek with them. But you got to like set the rules that they have to tell you if you're hot or cold because you can't see them.
You can't move when you hide either.
Yeah, and we did this in a cemetery, and this little boy directed us, and I was like. He was literally saying hot, cold, like through
our
the
other friend
method.
Chase was under.
Chase had no idea what was going on.
He had his blindfold.
He had no idea we were playing a game. No idea.
I was keeping him from falling over. Riley was asking the questions. I was videotaping him.
And I go, Trevor, I bet you this little kid's hiding behind this giant oak tree right here.
And he goes, hot.
Yeah, and I run around the oak tree and I go, found you. And our friend Chase goes,
Ha ha.
kid laughing. Ha 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 ha.
What?
We bullshit bricks.
We lost
but the
it.
most unfortunate part
awesome.
about this though is that whole file got corrupted because I think I was like somewhat, I don't want to say like possessed, but like I had like something in me that night where I was like, you guys are pussies. You aren't gonna do anything. And like I'd never done that before. And I just
It
like
was
for
super
some reason,
weird.
yeah,
I
for
even
some
had to
reason
tell
was
him to
aggressive.
back off. I was like, Trevor, dude,
Like,
you need to
shut up.
chill. And he was like,
Wow.
was like, wait,
started
what
to
am
be
I
kind
doing?
of rude with me and Chase. We're like, dude, what's going on right now? And
Oh
then
wow.
he later in the night made this offering that he was going to leave
Leave a
something
fucking
if they
token.
made our REM pod go off.
It went off.
And it went off instantly. And he never left anything. And he ended up losing his wallet.
It got
And it had
taken
a
right in my
tracker
butt.
device in it.
Gone.
What?
Never pinged
It was
once.
gone.
And it was not at the same. He went there the next day, looked all through the cemetery. I tore my car apart.
We couldn't
he tore
find
his
it.
car apart. We still have never found
Everything was gone.
It never got turned in anywhere.
But then the fucking crazier part is there's a spirit there named Bond, and he's kind of like a playful asshole. So like I almost wonder if like I was getting fed that like energy that night a little bit, and I was just like, I'm fucking riding that wave. I don't know. It was really odd. And then I went to go upload all of my video, and it was like file corrupted, file corrupted, file corrupted, file corrupted.
No.
Van Buren opens back up to the public. So.
Oh shit, it does. Yeah, the Van Buren County Poorhouse is fucking amazing though. Thank you for saying that, those weeps. But yeah, I mean, like, it's just like those experiences where it's like, ha.
Wow.
And we love EVPs. We've
the
started to
best.
like cap. Now we've done more investigations. We've had an opportunity.
We
to,
were
like,
dumb
be in
and
a
we didn't
spot
ever.
where we're indoors and like it's way easier to decipher EVPs.
Yeah.
Even though we have caught them outside many times.
Yeah, and that's the more crazy part, I feel like, because it's like there should be more fucking white noise and background bullshit. There shouldn't be a voice here at all.
Mhm. Mhm.
EVPs are the absolute.
I mean, like, granted,
Best.
like I like coming from the YouTube standpoint, I was like, it's got to be visual, bro. We got to get all the blippy bloppies and the colorful things on screen. And then it's like, no, like, have you ever heard a voice?
wasn't there.
Yeah, like, dude,
That's the only thing that starts to really give me chills when I'm on investigation.
that's when I really feel like I'm going.
Like, you can see it in the Van Buren Pony.
The Pony House.
God, I can't talk. In the Poorhouse video, that I literally am like shaking.
Yeah,
holding
he's
the
got
voice
like the
recorder,
whole rush
like,
going.
Really?
like, actually shaking from adrenaline.
Because there wasn't a girl with us that night. I know that sounds funny, but it was a sausage party, and all of a sudden I heard this little girl go hug, and like the most dainty like voice, and they were just talking to a little girl spirit that was up there, and I said her name wrong on purpose, and she corrected me, and I was like, oh
She's
shit, dude.
notorious for that, and she did it for us
Wow.
probably like 6 or 7 times.
I
Like, Anna.
think she vanished one of our pieces of equipment. Well, it's Tommy's, but like, Riley, you tell the story because I had my gimbal fall on my face. That's
So like Trevor's gimbal was resting on this like bookshelf, and he was kind of like leaning up against it. He likes to lay down when we're investigating.
I'm a
You'll
sloth.
see it all the time. And he like jerked back or something, or he hit his head on the bookshelf.
It was a bookshelf off the wall, but it was like a short one.
because they're going through construction, so everything's just everywhere in
Yep.
the museum. And his gimbal falls on his face, but we
Flat
have
on my
the Eddie
face.
device also up there. And it fell back
But
behind
yep.
behind it,
Mhm.
and it's bright freaking orange, like has lights on it. It's a big device,
Yeah, it's like this.
and I go
big.
back there to pick it up, and I go, "Where's the Eddie?" And everyone's like, "Dude, it's just back there." And I'm like, "No, it's
I
not."
pulled the bookshelf like to where it's like only
You
that
can
like
see under-
creases
yeah,
on the
so you
floor.
can see under it, and it wasn't
Nothing's
there. And we started looking around, like, okay, maybe it wasn't there.
We
had
all
it
looked
somewhere
up.
else.
But
And
an Eddie.
hallway, yeah, it's like
Yep.
this big, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we looked back down.
And then we ended up looking back. I was like, I'm gonna check one more time, and it was there.
Yeah, a big bright orange
had
Eddie.
What?
Looking for it in this little tiny
And
space.
none of us
bigger
are
than a-
bullshitters.
Like, wait,
Wow.
and it wasn't there, and then all of a sudden it was there.
We don't even like tell that story very often because I was like, I can't explain
It's
that at
the
all.
weirdest
Like,
thing
I felt
ever.
delusional at that
I
point.
did. I felt like I was going insane. I was like, how is this even possible?
I mean,
It
I did
just fell backwards. Like we all heard it hit that spot. Like you could tell where it landed, and it just
the little girl just kind of went, ah ha ha, and then put it back.
No, that gimbal though hit me square in the face. It's so fucking funny. And I'm pretty sure when Randy's video finally releases, because he takes forever to edit. I love that boy. That's a chef's kiss to Randy. That's an inside joke.
He has the best angle.
He has the best angle of that, like a full-on like camera phone gimbal that's probably like 5 pounds with the whole like rig I had on it just fall on my face. And I just started busting out laughing. And like not even 30 seconds before that, Tommy goes, "That's gonna fall on your face." And it did.
Wow.
He clairvoyants that shit too.
Wow. You
It's
never
so
know
little
what's going to happen. You
Yep.
never know what's going to happen.
I mean, like it's the downtime in the investigations where it's like it happens more than you think. You know, like you got to kind of make a night of it sometimes.
It
where it's-
always the paranormal stuff happens in spurts, and it's totally
Yep.
random, and you have to be paying attention when it happens. Otherwise, you miss
Right.
it. 'Cause it's like that.
yeah, you can crack your jokes all you want. Your jokey jokes are great, and like playing around is fine. But like you hear a creak, it's like, oh, time to get serious again.
Yeah, exactly. We found a couple of times that when it was a really slow night, nothing was
Yeah.
happening, that if we would just talk about anything like, oh,
Yeah,
you know,
just
vacation,
loosen up, let the conversation
Yeah.
roll.
completely not paranormal related, that they start moving around
Yep.
and getting closer, like, hey, hey, hey.
Oh,
didn't
they're
you
not
come
messing
for
with
us?
us now.
Yeah, didn't you come for us or no?
Yeah, like monkeys at zoo. Is that what you came for? Apparently not.
Have you heard of the Asher Walton House in
Where is that?
Atlanta, Indiana, the smallest town in the world?
Hi, buddy.
But I want to know if you've ever had an experience like this, because we were at the house during the day. Like we rented it for the night or whatever.
Yep.
So we had it all day, and we were just hanging out at the house, getting familiar with it, taking photos.
Probably
and,
like 2:00.
and it felt like
Come
the
on.
most homiest home
Yeah,
ever.
not haunted at all. Just
We were kind
inviting.
of like even looking at each other like, this
Did
place
we just
doesn't
make a
seem
trip for
that
nothing?
spooky at all. Like, seems like a really nice, just kept up mansion.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
this is cool. And then we left and just hung out for a little bit outside on the
yeah,
porch.
took some pictures outside.
And then the sun set, and the shadows hit the house.
And the energy.
the energy when we walked back into the house had completely just been, it was almost like we walked in and everyone that was in the house was doing their thing and just went
Whoa.
are you?
Yeah, what are you doing?
like,
Wow.
and we had this theory that, well, it was the summer, it was hot,
Yeah, it
everyone
was
in the
August.
house would have been hanging out outside in the town.
Yeah, in this little town of Indiana, they owned like the whole town. Like he owned 3 of the main businesses on the main strip. Their house overlooked the entire town, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like he was like the man there, and he built the house for his wife. So like their family was super well known. Like they were huge in that town.
Like he broke his nose and it was on the front page of the
Yep.
paper.
So like anytime they pooped in the like outside, it's big news. I don't think that actually happened. But like they're such a prominent family, well, why wouldn't they be out on the town during the day?
Right.
Like doing their thing. I believe that more than I believe the fact that we're gonna be in there during the day when it's like, I mean, like maybe we'll catch somebody like stopping through, one of the kids or
So-
something.
So have you like felt that at a location before where like maybe it's even opposite? Maybe it feels more haunted during the day than it does at night.
I have felt energy switches
Yeah.
off and on at different places, but nothing comes to mind exactly like that.
Mhm.
I think that would be very interesting because, they're dead. They don't care what time it is. They're
Right,
going
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. Like, time is a
Like,
man-made
yeah, like,
construct.
Does it matter? That's like
Like,
does
does
it
does the
matter?
day-night cycle on this like Earth also like have something to do with their like cycle? I don't know.
The,
Never thought of
that-
this.
EVP that you played, Get Out, that
Yeah.
one, I got that at 3:30 in the afternoon.
See, yeah, like it begs the question. Like I don't think time matters. I think it's just
doesn't.
like you got to catch lightning in a bottle.
Yep. I think so too. And I think we go ghost hunting at night because it's easier for us to focus. because we take
That's
out all the
true.
outside stimulation, all
That's
the
true.
the light. We're focused more. Our ears are picking up
Yeah,
better.
you tune in the dark for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter to them, but it does to us. It's just easier for us to hunt at night.
Right. Some might say, it's a hindrance having to do it in the dark, but realistically, I will always make this argument. Have you been in a room with a window in the middle of a full moon and tell me you can't see?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You can see a bit.
Yeah, like it's not. You'll see.
There's a trick to
There's
letting
dark
your
corners. Yeah, but
there's tricks to helping your eyes adjust to the darkness.
Mhm.
There are.
But I love the fact that you point out the noise pollution, the light pollution, all the other stimulus. Like it's exactly.
It's dampened during the
Yeah,
nighttime.
it's
we don't have as many cars driving by.
I really think that 3 a.m. the witching hour is only the witching hour, not because of devils and demons. It's because that's when everything is the most quiet.
I think so
Everything is settled. Everybody should be sleeping and probably is. And anything that's bumping around is probably running on its own time.
right? Yes.
Yeah, I've had these weird experiences. The only way I can explain it is like it's like dead silence, like no bugs, no cars.
The ring in your ear.
Yeah, the weird ring in your ear from electronics and interferences all around are like gone.
5G.
Yeah, 5G. It's like the quietest quiet that you'll ever experience. It's super weird. And it's usually like super, super late at night. I've only had it like one time at my parents' house.
And to me, those are super loud.
Yeah.
It's almost I've got to turn on something to make it not be so blatant.
Yeah, it's almost overpowering
Yes.
how quiet it gets. I hate when it does, like when you're in the woods. This is a great example. And it's like, this is a predator around. Maybe I'm the apex predator here and I'm scaring everything off. Like, I hope that's what it is. Don't think so. But like, you hear nothing and you're like, oh, dude, like life is teeming on this earth everywhere. I should hear something.
Yeah, especially in the woods. You should be hearing something.
Yeah, that's why at cemeteries, I think if you really do like just sit down and take it all in for a second, and then you just like hit that surreal moment where it's like, oh, there's no cars. There's no, whoa. This is odd.
Yeah, yeah. I have an EVP from a cemetery here, not too far from me. It's called Stewart's Chapel. But let's see. Yeah, Stewart's Chapel or just Stewart Cemetery. One of the two. But everybody around here knows it as Booger Hollow.
Yeah.
And I got a female saying, I'm just so tired of this ditch.
Oh, with the draw like that too? That's crazy.
Yes.
I love that though.
And
'cause
down
it just,
here,
Here we go.
they called the grave ditches. Different
really?
ditches.
Yeah. It's the way they say it there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I hear you.
What the fuck?
Coming out of the spirit
Straight
box,
from the
yeah.
hollows, like holy shit, that's cool. Like it's stuff like that where it's like that's tailored specifically for the area. Where if you come to Michigan, like you're probably not going to hear somebody going, "Well, golly, we're from the South," and that's you know, like,
Exactly.
it's one of those things, you know. Like people say we have an accent, I don't hear it, but then again, you go somewhere else, and you know, like definitely, like I hear the Jersey accent when we talk to our friends from the East Coast, and it's like, oh. We're from relative areas, but like we sound different. Like what's happening? Oh, it's fascinating as shit though. It's those pieces of credible evidence that people want to poop on and be like, oh, I mean, like you could have just faked that.
Radio waves.
That's just like a fucking radio station coming through. Okay, for one, that was multiple sweeps. 2, it literally lines up with the question. 3, if you go back and you look at the lingo of the like area, yeah, somebody would say that. It's not just super out of fucking pocket.
And I tell you, I'm old enough now that if somebody comes at me and says, I don't believe in any of that, that's a bunch of bullshit, everything you got is fake, I'm like, I don't care what you think.
Yeah, I'm at that point too, where it's like, believe what you want. I mean, you might cross my wires when I leave, but like, I'll take all of me not to just snap on you there, just because it's like, you don't have to be an asshole to be an asshole. Like, if you don't believe, just say that. It's fine,
Yeah.
but you don't gotta like belittle me,
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
right?
I,
Right?
Believe
I
what you
stand
want,
by
dude.
my evidence.
Let
And
bygones be
then,
bygones.
yeah,
Opinions are opinions. I can't
Exactly.
stand it when people are like, I don't like you because you are this and that. And it's like, yeah, I might think differently than you, but I don't fucking dislike your character or who you are.
Isn't it great though that we all think differently?
Mhm.
It's
I
such
think
a
that's the most
great
unique part.
thing. Yes.
We were so conformed to where we all thought the same. Oh my
Holy
god.
cow, we wouldn't
I
learn
learned-
anything.
I learn every single live stream another way to like go about like how I want to handle my investigations. How I want to like, like I want to tweak this a little bit because I really like the way that you
Yeah.
said this. Like you really opened my eyes to this, especially with it's like, oh, like it's really eye opening to just think about, well, what if this? Yep, like like a good example is like taking like a cat ball or like some type of like device like that, hanging it from a string in a doorway. Because what are you more likely to get? Motion from something in the torso area if you're aiming for the center mass, or a foot possibly striking it if you're just going for like if it's going through.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
makes
More
sense to
likely
me,
to. Does to me too. That's a good idea.
right? It's those
That's
things.
why I like
Yeah,
talking. I love talking to different teams about
Mhm.
how they investigate because you learn so many different techniques.
Oh yeah.
We're all learning, and
Mhm.
it's so cool to work together and find out different things.
I mean,
Try,
shoot.
look at it
Southern Michigan
differently.
Paranormal. Like we were privy not too long ago when we went to the Ghost Drama event at Bell Mansion. We got to meet well, not meet, but we got to re-see one of our good friends Danny and his crew from Southern Michigan Paranormal. And it's Sean, right? Yes. Shane. Sorry, I
was thinking
completely
Shane, yeah.
fucked it all up.
She's been saying Sean all night.
That's right. It is Shane. But he's like a fucking
Genius.
super genius, and he creates his own devices. So he has
Wow.
this board where it's every device that you could possibly think of baked into one thing, and it all puts the data into a spreadsheet, which he has coded to show him where the anomalies are, and it'll highlight it for him.
Craziest thing ever.
I'm
So
so
he'll-
jealous.
He'll
I'm
put
so
the
jealous.
board in there the day before, watch it, whatever the baseline readings are, and whenever he sees the spikes and stuff, that's where the events are. They'll set up their CCTV camera and like they'll look at the events, and then when they go investigate, he's got all these new like confangled devices. Like he had
Invented.
this tri-field thing, right?
What he
He
created,
invented this
he
too.
invented this static proximity detection device.
Yeah, it's like
So what it does is it has 4 different antennas.
Yep.
Each one is a static energy sensor, and it creates a field around it. So if anything
Mhm.
crosses into the static energy field,
it'll show the
it'll
vector
show
of it,
how far it moved, how big it is, basically
the strength
measure.
as it gets
yeah,
closer,
It's absolutely insane. And
Yeah.
it actually went off a couple of times,
and
and
watching
he
it
couldn't
work.
figure out what it was because
Yeah.
the REM pods were detecting the same thing.
And they were hitting like 30 milligauss, and we were like, it could be their fucking Wi-Fi camera, but I don't know how the Wi-Fi signal would conflict that hard with all of our devices all at once, and it was intermittent, so it wasn't like always. And when we unplugged the camera, it went off, didn't
It
it?
still did it when
Yeah.
we turned it off. Too.
Wow.
So we were all like, "What's happening?" Like this was also the room that I had a relatively odd experience where we walked in there, and I did not know that this is where Johnny Dillinger's right hand man. I can't remember his name, but he was embalmed because this was also the mortuary. So like the tables up there, like they have pictures and like his legitimate like deathbed pictures up there where he's riddled,
Wow.
and he died down the street. So it's like the history is all there, and I was hearing like tapping on things, and I was like, "Oh shit! Like what's happening?"
I'm pretty sure I seen a little boy because there was one
And it was this
little.
room.
There was like one young kid that was there all day because his dad was an investigator,
It was awesome to actually see
and
that.
he was in the group that was downstairs. And when I seen the kid, I thought it was him,
It was 2 floors
but
away.
then I realized that I blinked and there was no kid there, and I was filming it when I seen this. I just seen a fucking kid that wasn't there.
Yeah, like,
Wow.
whoa.
Nice.
That place is Bell Mansion, so fun.
Immaculately
So
fucking
haunted.
well kept too. But it's those events that you're like, oh, like, or like realistically, like me and Riley have been talking about lately, like what would it take to create our own device? You know, like how much brain power is it going to take between us? Like if we can do a podcast, what else can we do? We do YouTube now. Like, I mean, shit. Like, I'll try
Get on
anything.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
get on it. Get on it.
like getting the static like the cheap GoPros, the Chinese ones that you can like turn into night vision cameras. Like we've been talking about doing that, and it's like you have to get into the board and you have to flip like a wire and like, you know, change the lens, but it's like it's not, if you really try really hard and you're delicate. I think it's achievable.
Wow. See, I wish I knew how to make stuff like that.
YouTube University.
YouTube University.
I've learned everything I ever need.
Multi-graduate right here.
Yep. If anybody wants to know how we've gotten to the point that we have with the like the quality and like learning how to like continue to like grow the way we are, YouTube. Like we use the platform too. Like we might be on it, but we use it. It's a tool. But it's sources like, you know, we're like this is also like more than just like a live interview. Like this is a source for me to like gather information to like also assess like what is the paranormal to you? How should I change my belief on what I think it is, because this opened my perspective. And that's what the best part about this is.
You know, but it's not really changing your belief. It's
more broadening.
Yes. It's just kind of, it's not changing. It's just kind of morphing it into something more.
I've definitely noticed too, like, you know, like growing up in a religious background and like going to church every Sunday with my friend's family and stuff and doing Bible study Wednesdays. And like, I think there's some validity to a lot of it, but I think that it's more of a cash grab than it really is a proper, you know, like a faith-born thing. And the more I venture into the esoteric and the paranormal and like other mythological things and like other like religious stuff, where it's like, oh, well, that's really intriguing. Like this all can like be drawn back to like a certain thing here, and now we're like branching there, and it's like, wow, what's the truth? Like once again, I don't know.
Yeah. And if you ask people down here that are very in the church every time it's opened,
they won't believe.
No, they don't want anything to do with it. You'll
Really?
occasionally find somebody that goes against that, but for the most part,
I've rarely found anybody that doesn't believe anymore.
right.
It's very rare around
It's
here.
becoming more and more that you almost have to believe. You know, there's too much going on. But you still have people that go, nah. Now, my husband didn't want to think about it.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. And so when we first got married, we've only been married 12 years now.
Hey, still, congratulations.
Right. But when I moved into his home, it was like his bachelor pad. So it's this like little cabin.
Oh, the man cave.
Yeah. And I was moving my stuff in, and my cat was going to be the last thing I moved in because you know cats are just
They're weird.
They are very wild
weird.
animals.
Mine's running
Yes.
around right
His is
now.
literally fluffing right there.
Well, the one night we went to bed, he falls asleep as soon as his head hits pillow.
I wish I had that.
Me too. And I've never been like that.
Nope.
But I was trying to get comfortable, and I felt Bella jump up on the bed at my feet and kind of turn around. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. She's finally getting comfortable. Wait.
And then
Bella's
you thought
not here
about it?
yet. Yeah, Bella's not here yet. Wait a minute.
It.
We have a ghost cat. And so
I believe it.
like
I have
a
ghost
couple
cats.
of days later, he had not fallen asleep yet, and it happened. And I said, did you feel that? I said, did you feel that? And he goes, uh-huh. And I said,
Uh-huh.
what was it? And he goes, I don't know. And I said,
Did he ever bring up like it happened before?
never. Not until I asked him. I said, you know what it is, right? No. And I said, it's a ghost cat. And he goes, okay. I said,
Yep.
did you know that you had something? He goes, yep. I said, were you going to say something? Nope. I said, why not? I was waiting for you to tell me.
Yeah, because
You to tell me.
Typical man.
But
That's awesome.
he has actually gotten some signs from his mom and dad, from Wyatt, just, things that have made him more open to it. And he's actually started this past January, he went on his first ghost hunt with me. And so we've been doing ghost hunt. He went to Brushy Mountain.
Heck yeah.
He's going up to the inaugural investigation.
So,
So, yeah, he's
Yeah,
in it. He's in it now.
I always say we're injecting it straight into the veins. Like, it's so good. I love it so much. It's one of those adrenaline rushes you can't get anywhere else. Like, it
Yes.
really is. Like, I mean, what else are you ever gonna like do that you're gonna like experience that, unless you just, I guess, like, it can just happen. Like Ghost Cat, it just so happens Ghost Cat's there. I mean, shit. Like, I think that it, like, this is always really wild for me. Some of the orbs that we get, potential insect spirits. I know that sounds funny, but like,
think about
people say they see orbs all the time, and then I'm like, if we're gonna say like everything has a soul,
You can't
and
say everything is
well,
false.
insects are somewhat they have intelligence. I won't say a lot, but it would make some sense when you're seeing orbs in certain places that they would. I know I can't take myself seriously when I say it, but like, maybe there's validity there. Like, maybe when we like pass on, somebody's just like, dude, you had it. You fucking had
Right.
it.
Right. We were hoping they would agree with you, but they didn't.
Yeah, everybody thought you were a loon.
Everyone thought you were a crackpot. Well, you were right, dude.
And that's the fun part about it, where it's like, I think animals have spirits. I think 100%
Yes.
of the time, where it's like, if you see like a spirit of something in the woods or something you don't know what it is, it could be an alien, it could be a
Maybe it's
wendigo,
dinosaur
it could be
bugs.
a dinosaur of some sort, a creature that lived a long time ago. You don't know what it is. Like, it's so just throw your hands up. I mean, if you get a good look at it,
I don't
Right.
want to see a ghost T-Rex. I hope all y'all.
dude.
I
Yeah.
want to see a T-Rex, but not a ghost.
Let's just listen to those dweebs episode today. Jurassic Park was on the docket, and it's like I just immediately go back to the fucking scene where the fucking T-Rex is like right above the the stall, and it just splits open, and he's just it's like, that's
I'm
me.
gonna eat
That's
some of
me,
that.
dude. I'd be like, I'm gonna go hide in the bath. That's the best spot. Oh, I love that though so very much.
But we have
2
ran it
hours
at 2
in.
hours, so I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
Oh, wow.
I know
can't
It goes
guys.
quick.
Time
Yeah.
flies.
Boom, boom, boom. You guys are awesome.
Thank
You are
You're
awesome.
amazing.
This is so
No,
fun.
you guys are awesome.
We'll do this again for sure. Like,
Oh,
I
yes.
have so many more questions, and we have touched lightly on the books, but it's like I really want to dive more into that and be like, like I always thought it'd be cool to be an author, and Riley himself has written some short stories, and they are wonderful. And I was like, dude, I think there's like something there.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
Yeah,
be
well, you should do a book then.
See,
We
a
actually
short
talked
story
about it.
form book
We
wouldn't
talked
be
about
bad,
it, actually.
and we know who to talk to if we need some advice.
Exactly. And I've started doing editing for other people and helping them that way too. So
Oh yeah, we.
I said that's what I always say. Like, if anybody needs help podcasting or anything like that, like, just give me a shout. Like, definitely help. Like, I
yeah,
can definitely
I
help
mean,
with that.
isn't that so much nicer than, oh, I can't help you? You know?
Yeah, I can literally tell you like in 10 minutes how to edit a full podcast, because I've done it so many times to where I can step by step break it down if you really
I
need me
think
to.
we've
It's fine.
definitely both done over 100 by now.
Oh yeah, we
each.
we try to
Nice.
split the load as much as possible, so it's like, oh god, I think we're both like pretty good at it now. I think he's better at video editing than me, but I mean, that's sensei to me anyway. I'm young buck.
This has been awesome. I've enjoyed it so much.
Yes, and we'll if you
Thank you, chat.
want to check out more of the EVPs, or link for
Yeah, make sure you
Elk
check
Valley
out their
Paranormal
books,
is down in the description. You can go; they're super easy to find.
and they're wonderful, as
They're
you saw.
crazy. It's some crazy cool ones, as you saw. And if you want to buy the book or listen to it on Kindle, again, links down there in the description.
Woo-woo.
Anything you need, we always got you hooked up. If you haven't yet, make sure you like and subscribe.
Cut in, you got it.
Yeah, go. Oh, you.
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
So if any listeners out there, or you guys, either one,
Mhm.
because I know you both have stories, but if any of your listeners have stories of lost loved ones coming back to say hello in dreams, visions, apparitions, leaving signs like feathers, pennies, songs coming on, cologne, anything, deathbed conversations, near-death experiences. I'm collecting stories for It's Not Goodbye 2, More Signs from Beyond.
Yay.
So that's the one I'm going to bring out after I finish Mark's cookbook.
Yep.
And so please, you can reach out to me on Facebook, Cyn Shrader Hill Author. You can also email me at cynshraiderhillauthor@gmail.com.
Perfect.
I'd love to hear your stories, love to put them in, and it would be awesome to meet you guys too.
Yeah, of course. Like
We'll
we
definitely
always
make it
say,
happen,
like
because
we're
if
gonna
we
travel.
come down there, then we have to see Eric too. And
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, realistically,
and
like,
that just sounds like a motley crew to me.
yeah, like, hey, Eric, you want to just like powwow for like a couple of nights at the house? Like, yep.
He would be up for it, I bet.
Oh yeah, I wanted to
I
get that way for a while because I mean, realistically, like, I mean, there's a whole lot that way.
The house is actually in Kentucky, right? Not
Yes.
Mhm.
Hopkinsville.
Yep. And then I mean, shoot, we're just a shoot like right down. You know, it seems like down the road from a bunch of cool stuff.
Nice.
And with that being said, folks, remember to keep your ears and eyes open for what really goes.
Bump in the night.
Peace.
Thanks, everyone. Mwah, mwah.